Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our daily English learning session. Today, we're diving into the world of cardinal numbers, an essential part of mastering English. Cardinal numbers are not just about counting, they are rooted in everyday communication, and understanding them well will greatly enhance your language skills. So, let's get started. First, let's define what cardinal numbers are. Cardinal numbers are numbers that denote quantity. They indicate how many of something there are. Examples include 1, 2, 3, and so on. They're crucial in many contexts, such as sharing information about age, quantity, and time. For example, I have 2 brothers. She is 20 years old. There are 7 days in a week. Understanding cardinal numbers is your first step into becoming fluent, so let's dig deeper. Now, let's chat about how to read cardinal numbers clearly and effectively. Clarity is key when communicating numbers, especially in transactions or important discussions. For example, read 1 as 1, 25 as 25, and 102 as 102. Let's practice a few together. 34, 34, 58, 58, 215, 215. But be careful with large numbers. For clarity, separate them into groups of 3 digits, especially when reading them aloud. For instance, 1,000, 1,000, 1,500, 1,500, 2,050, 2,050. If you find larger numbers daunting, practice in chunks and it'll become much easier. Next up is writing cardinal numbers. In most cases, we spell out numbers from 1 to 10 and use digits for numbers 11 and above. Let's clarify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When dealing with larger numbers, especially in formal writing, we generally prefer digits. 11, 2,500. However, in formal writing, particularly at the beginning of a sentence, always spell out the number. For instance, 25 students attended the class. Always aim for clarity in your writing to avoid confusion. Here's a tip. When you're writing in more informal contexts like texting or social media, it's often acceptable to use numerals to save time. Now let's move on to pronunciation. Pronouncing numbers can be tricky, but with practice you'll master it. Here are some tips. Pay attention to the th sound at the end of numbers. Numbers like 4th and 5th can be challenging. Let's practice a few together. 1, 1, 3, 3, 10, 10, 20, 20, 50, 50, 100, 100, 1,000, 1,000, 10,000, 10,000. In addition to pronunciation, stress is also important. Generally, the first part of the number receives more emphasis, like in 100. Let's look at some practical examples where cardinal numbers come into play. I need 4 volunteers for this project. There are 20 students in the classroom. My favorite TV show has 5 seasons. He runs 3 miles every day. We will have 1 meeting next week. Notice how we use cardinal numbers to quantify information. Integrating numbers into your sentences this way will help you sound more natural and fluent. Before we wrap up, let's touch on some common mistakes to avoid. Don't mix up less and fewer when dealing with cardinal numbers. Use fewer for countable things like fewer than 10 apples, and less for uncountable quantities like less water. Ensure that you match noun forms with the correct number, such as 5 cats and not 5 cat. Learning these nuances will improve your confidence in using numbers. To wrap up, remember to practice reading, writing, and pronouncing cardinal numbers regularly. With time, you will find it easier to use them in everyday conversation and writing. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more English learning tips. See you next time, and happy learning.